I am Chris Lewis, your CAW heavyweight champion, undefeated for over a year, and not because of COVID, but because everybody's scared of me. Now you're watching Wrestle Geeks Recap. Like, subscribe, or I'm gonna come down there and slap the stupid off your face.
Welcome everybody to Wrestle Geeks Recaps. We are here for Rebellion's recap. It was an awesome pay-per-view. I absolutely loved it. But let's just get right into it. I am your host, the Geek, Trevor Firth. Also hailing from the Maritimes alongside with me, your now former predictions champion, the cream in your coffee, Jordan Talbot.
Life sucks.
And introducing, hailing from the UK, our new predictions champion, the Modern Day Viking, Jay Scriven.
It feels good to be champion. I was going to win it at this pay-per-view. I did hold off to win it.
You legitimately called it that you're like, no man, I'm going to win it at Rebellion. Like, you've been saying this since Jordan won it.
I am sending in my resignation to you fuckers.
I'm adding it to my CV, predictions champion.
Good lord. Yeah.
Love it.
Good times, good times.
But guys, Rebellion in general, overall highlight, like how do you feel about it coming out? Because this is like I don't do rating system, but like this is like an 8 out of 10 pay-per-view for me. Like this is great.
I will say this show really knocked it out of the park. This had to be a top 10 show for Impact this year because of the hype put into it. The worst thing you could ever do is have a show with all this hype and it's a flop. This show really it lived up to the hype and at some point even exceeded it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree. The show for me, the whole show just gets a J++. It was absolutely awesome. Like, I absolutely loved it from start to finish. I've got no complaints.
That's awesome to hear. Might as well go right into the first match of the night then, which, man, of course, they opened with, like, potential something that, if it wasn't for the main event, would have made match of the night. So we get TJP, Josh Alexander, and Ace Austin defending the X Division title match, triple threat. This was, oh man, like this was the right call. Putting these three guys in the opening match was perfect. I loved it. And then these guys always deliver and perform, and you know they're going to deliver and perform. Fulton barely got involved, very minimal. And then the right man won, is all I gotta say.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
I'm glad Josh won. I don't know. I've seen this match so many times, and I didn't know what to expect, but it definitely did better than I expected. I just hope we get a bit of freshness to the X Division now, though, going forward.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree on that.
Take TJP out of the X Division for a while. Let's take Ace Austin out of the X Division, put him in the tag team title division with Madman Fulton, and just go from there now. Really, I think you need someone new in the X Division. Someone new for Josh.
Yeah. Well, Josh, I feel, will bring a different pace and different style to the X Division, as well as like TJP. Yeah, of course. Like he's busy, he can be a New Japan Strong, and he's an MLW as well as, and he's got other things going on in the indie scene. Like that's just the stuff I know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, this match, all three guys, I could never see these guys having a bad match together, and luckily they knocked out of the park the first match of the night. I'm looking at this for each guy in this way. I think Josh Alexander rightfully deserved this. This really is going to do good for him. TJP, I'm on the fence if he should leave the X Division or even just finally just be a prick heel that I think he could be. in this. And for Ace Austin, I'm with you on this, Jay, that he should, now he should focus on the tag team division with Madman, because I think that was the goal of this match, to get Ace Austin out of the X division and slowly grow him into the tag team and then the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think having Ace Austin just on the show improves the show, and TJP.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's definitely time for them to bring something new to the X division. How long have these three been feuding over the X division?
It feels like forever. Yeah, it feels like forever.
Yeah. This is so, like I said, Josh should bring a different pace, right? So, but perfect opening match, great opening match. The firing on all cylinders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this leads us into, I believe, Myers versus Cardona next.
No, I think it's VBD.
Yeah, we see talking to someone.
Yes, we saw the promo of Eric Young speaking with somebody.
Which I'm happy they did, because as everybody knows, or, if anybody doesn't know, Eric Young injured his leg. People, of course, we were all wondering, is Eric Young going to wrestle? Is he just going to stand in the ring? It's nice to know that they, were going to do something like this.
Yeah, I'm really happy they let us know that was going to happen before the match started. That's for sure. But Jay, do you want to go into the next match?
Yeah, so we get Violent by Design versus Storm, Edwards, Saban, and William Mack. As Violent by Design come out, they bring out W. Morrissey, who is Big Kaz, or Kaz XL, as he's called on the indie scenes now, who looked like a better version of Matt Morgan.
Yeah.
He looked so good. And you know what? An excellent addition to the Impact roster.
Yes,
Definitely.
without a question.
He got the pin over Willie Mack. He used a big boot, and then he followed it up with an East River crossing for the pin.
Yeah.
My God, he looks a beast. He really does.
Yeah.
And then he beat on Mack. And then he celebrates in the ring, and by Design celebrate at the top of the ramp. So I'm not sure if he's just there for the one match for Violent by Design, or he's definitely there more than one match, because he got the pin.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think if he was just there for this match, he would have been the one who took the pin.
Yeah. First of all, a lot of people know what Big Kaz has gone through, his outside of the ring. What that guy's gone through with mental illness. And for anybody listening to this, mental illness is not a joke. Get help if you need it. Don't mess with that stuff. Big Kaz, there was a point where he was really down and just wasn't the same. And it is so good to see him come back and just look unbelievable. And also, he looked like a perfect fit for this group. Like, it was unbelievable how he looked like the old Big Kaz, which was awesome. At the end of the day, I'm happy Violent by Design finally got a win on pay-per-view, because as we had said in our predictions, yeah, they got a win on the plus, but they needed a pay-per-view win, because that's when you really know this group is legit.
I agree with that last statement 100%. When it comes to Morrissey, man, I agree with you with the fact that he looked great too, but he looked better than he did when he was Big Cass. This was awesome. Everything he did, I really enjoyed. Everything was spot on. I didn't really see anything that was too sloppy in any way. Like, the guy, he's really, I said, the Impact when is firing on all cylinders tonight, and he showed he was firing all cylinders tonight. It was amazing to watch him go. I really loved it, and now I want to see him and Rhino use that trophy to go ahead and get those tag titles, or at least challenge for the tag titles, because Rhino had the trophy in the little promo before the match.
Yeah, I think if they win, they're gonna do a Freebird thing. I could see them doing that.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love to see that.
Just
would've been
imagine
good.
Joe Doring and W. Morrissey in a tag team. How dominant they would be as a team. Just
That's-
those two.
What I was thinking. Do you know when we saw Violent by Design backstage? I honestly expected it to be Davey Richards who was going to join Violent by Design for this match.
Yeah, I had an idea on that.
Money. That was what my money was on. I even said to my missus, I was like, "Oh, it's going to be Davey Richards."
At the end of the promo, everybody was looking upwards.
Never even noticed that.
At the end of the promo, they're all staring up. And that should have been the, like, even Doring is like, Joe Doring was slightly looking upwards.
I was thinking when they looked up a little, I was thinking for a second, maybe even Jake something.
Yeah.
That was my pick. But really happy to see that, Big Kaz is doing his thing, and God bless him for, pulling out of the rut he was in.
Sure.
I have got to say, I feel sorry for Mac because Mac always just gets pinned, doesn't he? Like any match, it's like, yeah, he can take the pin. He can take the pin.
It's unfortunate. That's the one about the match that bothered me. The only thing about that match that would bother me would be that. But moving on.
Who would you better take the pin? That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. You have to look at the rest, everybody else, and be like, I mean, I think Eddie Edwards could have taken it at this point too, though. To be honest, it would have been fine.
So what happened after that match?
So then we go into Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers.
Yeah, this is kind of exactly what I want to see between the two of them when it comes to a match, the storytelling and whatnot. The knee tweak at the end, so that was well done. Because even experienced wrestling fans were unsure if that was real or not. They did it really well, really smooth. He's fine.
Is he fine?
Yeah,
apparently.
He's fine.
The ending of this match, if they were trying to make Brian Myers into a complete scumbag, they did this perfectly.
Yeah.
Because here's what happens for all the fans.
Yeah.
Cardona is hurt. His knee is out. Myers feigns this concern for his friend. The referees come down to check on him. It's like, oh my God, this isn't part of the show. Myers lifts up Cardona and then hits him with a clothesline, and then the roster cuts.
Yeah. And that was actually one of the reasons why I thought maybe he was hurt, because they transitioned into it so fast. Like, they helped him up, leaned in, then hit him clothesline, and then did the finish. You know what I mean? Like, they went for the finish right away. So I was like, man, maybe he really is hurt.
But it's just like, that's old school FU heel stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
How good that was. Like, when I saw it, even I was just thinking, you motherfucker. Like, that's not cool.
I love it. That's the kind of heel work I love. Perfect.
I thought it was really did.
Yeah?
I really did. Honestly, I was like, oh my God, he's actually injured. And because of the ending of the match as well, it was just so quick, and it was like, let's get this done with.
That's what sold it, was how fast they did that. That's definitely what sold it. But, quick little match, and I enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm happy to see Myers continue his reign of being an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the whole goal of this match, like I said, was to really give Brian Myers the heel heat that he needs, and they did that. Now he's got. If there was a crowd, that crowd would probably be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. So next match.
No, we missed a bit with Tony Khan.
There, yep. I was so happy to see that guy on camera.
I'll be honest, man. There are so little of these moments on this pay-per-view that I did kind of forget them. But I'm happy that there were so few of them. I don't want a lot of this stuff. When it comes to a pay-per-view, I want match. Let's go. I want action. I don't want backstage skits.
I need the break in between, but I love this because you had Tony Khan show up and just looking. I love the list of that he did about himself.
But I will say the break in between, man, that's what those hype packages that we've already seen 20 times are for.
But I just love the list he does. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm Tony Khan, owner, manager, promoter, creator, booker."
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like, you are such a prick.
Yeah, but do you know how many indie guys can list off the exact same list and then add more?
And they do. And of course, in this segment, they do a great thing where, he says, "We brought our best referee." And I will agree, she is one of the best referees in the world.
Absolutely.
And
No.
then,
Sorry.
then you got the big guy, Scott D'Amore, comes in, and he's got his referee. And he's like, "Don't worry, we got it covered." He's like, "Oh, you're gonna use Brian? Oh yeah, Brian's not just screw anyone over. What's your last name?"
What's your last name again, Brian? And
Which
I love that. And here's one of the reasons why I love that moment. Do you know what Aubrey Edwards' name was on the indie scene before she started working for AEW? Because Aubrey Edwards is also not her real name, but she was Girl Hebner. That was her name on the indie scene. It was Girl Hebner. So to see Brian, I know for a fact that her and Brian do get along. So it's funny because she gets along with his dad as well. So it's really funny. It was a good moment.
So they make out like this is the first time that it's been mentioned, but I'm sure I'd already heard there was going to be 2 referees for this match.
Yes. Yeah, we've only heard it on one episode of Impact. Before this, it was on the Go Home episode. So they were just reiterating just in case, which is not a bad idea.
I suppose, but they could. I think the way they handled it, it was like they were shocked that there was going to be 2 referees. Like Scott was shocked.
Scott was insulted. Let's just say I've already seen an experience where somebody tried to bring another referee to a show without talking to anybody.
And the other thing is, doesn't Earl Hebner actually work for AEW?
Yeah.
No, he's not under contract with them or anything like that. He comes in for special highlight. He's come in for 1 or 2 of Cody's matches. That was it, if I'm not mistaken. He doesn't really do much.
I remember seeing Earl Hebner is All Elite, one of those little post-it things that they have.
Go check that.
Looking. Nope, he is not.
Okay, no, because I remember seeing him in NWA not that long ago doing some stuff as well. Yeah. Despite, it's funny, the infamy from the Montreal Screwjob and all that, and he has made him the most popular and famous ref on this side of the planet. It's hilarious.
He's no Red Shoes though.
He is Red Shoes is great, but you know what? He's no Tiger Hattori. That's all
there you go. So let's get into the next match.
Yes. Yeah, the next match is something, all right.
Here we go.
So we have Fire and Flavor versus Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Well, how do you say her last name?
Ellering.
Yeah, so this match was for the Knockouts Championship. The Knockouts Tag Championship, sorry.
Yeah.
Rachel hits a sit-out Fisherman Buster and then gets the pin on, I believe it was Tasha Steelz.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And the match was really there's a couple of false finishes. It was really false. I say it's false finishes, but really it was broken by the tag team partner every time, which isn't quite the same as a false finish. But I really enjoyed how close this match felt. It was very back and forth. There's a point where I was literally sitting there I don't know who's gonna win this, and I'd say maybe 2 minutes after that moment, I was oh, it's probably gonna be Jordan Grace and Ellering, and that makes me sad I'll be honest. I don't like when somebody just walks into the company and wins the belt. That is not
Yeah.
something that should be done often. It should be done very, very, very rarely. And I feel like Impact has already, like, I feel like it's something Impact has done so often back in the TNA era that it's like it's a stigma for them, and it's one of those things that they just need to avoid for a while, maybe. That's in my eyes, of course, but also I'm not the biggest fan of Rachel Ellering. I will admit she's a lot better than the last time I saw her in the ring. And I love Fire and Flava, so I'm sad to see them lose the titles. So ultimately, I'm just not happy because they lost. Let's just face it.
For me, this match, first of all, Jordan Grace, I could watch her in anything. She's just an awesome wrestler and very, very underappreciated in terms of women's wrestling, in my opinion. Like she's such a good worker. Fire and Flava, awesome tag team. Rachel Ellering, she improved, and I'm happy that she has improved. The way I'm looking at it is I think the knockout tag team division needed something like this to just, get the titles away from Fire Flava and then, build up the rematch. Because I think, as we had talked about, the tag team division and the knockouts division hasn't really been doing anything. And so I think it needed that little, just that little kick in the butt to help it out.
How about this? Send Fire and Flava over to AEW for a while. Like, actually do something like that, please.
It was nice seeing Dad as a manager.
Yeah, it was cool. That was cool too. But
Yeah.
quickly, just to finish my thought, man. Sorry. Send Fire and Flava over there for a while, and then have Grace and Ellering do like an open challenge thing, and have just like a bunch of different women tag teams from indie scene come in for a while. Bring the
Like
Sea
that.
Stars back again for a match. Bring a couple other people in. Try some stuff out. Try people out.
Yep.
But yeah, you were gonna say.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But again, I feel the same way. I'm not a big fan of people debuting and winning on their winning their title on their debut. There's hardly any build up to it, and it's just kind of like she appeared last week and helped Jordan Grace out, and then this week she had the first match for Impact and wins the tag team titles. It just felt a bit lackluster. Like it didn't need to happen. I wanted Fire and Flava to win because I enjoy them as a tag team so much that now we've got it on someone that I've never seen before. Like I know of her, but I've never seen her wrestle before.
It's not like this was Taylor Wilde. Like,
yeah,
because Taylor Wilde comes in at the end, like later on in the night to make her presence known, right?
yeah.
Little spoiler for later, but
at least I know Taylor Wilde from Impact history.
Would have made more sense. Having Taylor Wilde be like Jordan Grace's tag team partner, because then again, it's Jordan Grace and another legend learning from another legend, making yourself even better and bigger.
Yeah.
And Taylor Wilde being a former Knockouts champion and a former Knockouts tag champion, coming in and winning the belt on her first match back. That would have been cool. That would have been fine. Rachel Ellering doesn't have that name value. I think this is like my only rant about tonight, guys.
Or Rachel.
I'm sorry, this is my own, and it's not really her fault. It's how Impact has booked her. That's my issue. It's not her. It's how Impact is using her. I feel like propping her up in this way, it's either they really, 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 really believe in her, or I feel like she's being set up to fail slightly. Because I don't know.
See. Just have to see.
This is why I didn't get it. This is why the pay-per-view didn't get like a 9 or a 10 for me. Mostly this match, I'll be honest. It was mostly this result.
I'm not gonna lie, I still enjoyed the match. I was just disappointed that they won.
Absolutely.
That was all. That's all I've got to say about that.
So what happened after this match? Anything?
No, we go straight into Sammy versus Trey in the last man standing.
Yes. Can I take this one over for a minute?
Yes, of course, mate.
Oh God, this match was. I love last man standing matches. They are my favorite hardcore match because you get to see just what, the idea that these two guys are hitting each other with everything they got to keep each other down is just beautiful. And there were some spots I've never seen in a last man standing match before, especially the table flipped upside down and Trey hitting it on the legs. Not like the edges of the legs. His back hits right there. And it's the rare time where I literally just went, "Oh God," because it looked fucking painful. But this match was for me, I think only about one thing, and that was to really show how tough Trey is and how much passion he has. And Callahan put this guy over like $1 million because Sammy beat the crap out of him. And Trey, took everything he could. And
He's the ultimate underdog, man. He's invincible.
he just beat the hell out of each other. And, uh, the ending was Miguel delivered a cutter through a table at the ringside. And, they're doing the Rocky 2 thing of both men struggling. And Miguel's able to get to the top. And Callahan slipped down like Apollo. And it's kind of hilarious. We're talking about it like Rocky 2 because in Trey's promo, it was Rocky.
I know. I love it. I actually love the references to it. It makes it better. I'm not going to lie. The table spot, the first table spot, the table that didn't break, it didn't break because of the leg spot that they did. Because that was the same table. And when Trey they did the leg spot and Trey bent over the leg of the inside of the table leg, that weakened the leg of the table. So when they tried to do the move from the top rope through it, the leg just snapped in half instead of the table breaking. And that's what happened. Because I rewatched that spot a handful of times. I was like, it was the same table. That has to be what happened. They weakened the legs when they did that. But
Like I said, that leg spot though in the table is the most painful thing I've ever seen in a last man standing match.
Man, I will agree with you in about a last man standing match. I've seen more painful than that, definitely. But I don't like how prominent I'm starting to see chair leg and table leg stuff on the indie scene. And now it's creeped its way into Impact. And there are limits, man. Like, I'm not a big deathmatch hardcore kind of guy. I do watch GCW every once in a while. I love Bloodsport. Bloodsport's amazing. But no, there are things that are just straight up dangerous beyond an acceptable level, in my opinion.
I think if you're going to do things like this, save it for massive pay-per-views like this. And
I do agree with that.
It added to it. It added to the pure hatred that was in this match, Mm-hmm. And when one thing that got me is when Trey come out from underneath the ring, the referee's telling Sammy to turn around. Like, why was the referee doing that? Like, I've never seen the referee say, "Look, he's behind you. He's behind." It was like fucking Panto.
No, it's because he stopped counting, and Sammy was like, "Why'd you stop counting?" Right? Like, you stopped counting the 10 count. Like, what are you doing? So he had to, dude, he's not under there. He's behind you. He kind of, had to tell him at that point. I don't know what else he would have done.
I suppose, yeah. But I was just kind of like, well, why is he telling him he's behind him? Like, but overall, the match, some of the spots in this match, it really was, I look forward to Thursday to see what's going to happen between them. Like, I wonder if this is the end of the story or if it's going to carry on.
No, it's going to be like, congratulations, Trey, you did it. The pressure was on. You finally rose up. You showed your passion. He's going to take credit. Sammy's going to try and take credit for the fact that Trey won.
Yeah.
And
I
only
s-
Sammy can make that work.
I see this feud leading to a steel cage,
Oh, that'd be great.
which I think it's the only way that feud will end, in a steel cage.
What is it that Eddie Edwards and Sammy did?
Oh, Barbed Wire Massacre.
The barbed wire match. What, man? I think Sammy should just make that his signature match at this point. Like that's his feud-ending signature match. The way like Undertaker had the casket match. Because how many casket matches did Undertaker actually win?
Yeah, true.
Just saying. Just saying.
Well, he beat Styles at a boneyard match, didn't he?
I preferred the
And the
Boneyard
Buried
match.
Alive.
It was funnier.
Buried
the bone
Alive.
mark.
Great match.
Anyway, back on track.
So next we get Rich Swann backstage talking to Gia Miller.
Solid promo.
Yes, and yeah, this is Swan just being Swan. He does these babyface promos really, really, really solidly. They do kind of all start to feel the same when you've heard so many of them in a row. But I mean, they've been giving him so much mic time over the last. It's ridiculous. Like too much, guys. Too much.
I did like though how he just made it very clear to Kenny, this isn't your home. This isn't your house. And he's like, where are we? Impact. Yeah, this is my place.
I really wanted him to say, this is the house that AJ built.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But I like how the way he said that, Impact, he was pretty much saying, you're not going to beat me in my house.
Yeah.
It's not.
But like honestly, Jay, if you would have said something like that, that would have resulted in Kenny Omega hitting a Styles Clash that night.
Oh, we can only dream.
It would have been worth it. It was awesome. But the promo backstage, again, like you said, it's very repetitive now. It's been built up so long and so many segments like this that if you go back over the last 4 weeks, you can watch the same promo on any of the Impact episodes.
Some guys just have trouble, doing promos.
Swan's got much better, and truth, he's excelled himself. And when he first won the title, I was like, why are they putting it on Rich Swann? To a point now where I didn't just believe that he could stay Impact champion. I believed he could become AEW champion.
Yeah. But now we go into Trevor's favorite tag team defending their Impact tag team titles. So actually, you know what? I don't do it good enough. Trev, you're smiling. You're looking handsome, beautiful today. You're looking so pretty today, Trev. Why don't you go ahead and say what the next match was?
So, Good Brothers versus Ben Juice for the Impact Tag Team titles.
If you guys the rant he had about Rachel Ellering, God, get ready.
No, man, like I can't even rant about this anymore because I am just. I give a fuck. And that's the problem. I literally just don't give a fuck. Impact is making me not care about their tag team division, and Impact is making me not care about the cross promotional shit. And yeah, it really sucks.
All right, well, I'll put some positivity into this. So first of all, Finley sold his ass off. I think that should be worth noting. Robinson did his awesome, exploding, coming out of nowhere, with all the energy. I will admit I was shocked. This was the biggest shock to me tonight, on the pay-per-view, because I really thought the Good Brothers were going to win. But, I can't lie. I'm sorry, Trev. I can't lie. There's a part of me that is intrigued with what they do. I know you're mad about it, and you've made some really good points about it. But
dude. I'm straight up. I'm sad about it because you're right. They're great. I know how good Finjuice is. I love Finjuice, and I want everybody else to know how good Finjuice is. But if you're just gonna show us video packages of manufactured bullshit, then you're no better than WWE. And then I stop caring when you do shit like that because you're insulting my intelligence as a fan by telling me that they're defending titles when I'm watching that product simultaneously and they're not. It's just a slap to the face as a fan, and I'm not used to that from Impact. From TNA, sure. I'm not used to that from Impact. And it's really frustrating because it keeps happening.
Yeah.
When it comes to the tag team division. Yeah. Since Finjuice has won the belts, they have done nothing but disrespect their fans with the tag team division. And I can't even be angry about it anymore. I just feel frustrated.
Send some hugs, guys, everybody. Send some hugs to this guy.
I'm happy Finjuice won it.
There we go.
I really am. I did not expect it for 1 second. I expected the Good Brothers to retain to bring back the titles. But so George Iceman a few weeks ago said that someone's going over to New Japan. Well, he didn't say New Japan. But he said something. So I'm hoping this sends someone like Decay over or something like that, and have Decay go and win the titles back from over there, and then come back for the Good Brothers. I think that could add to the Good Brothers Decay storyline quite well if they can use the fact that, look, we went and got the titles back because you couldn't win them. I know you've beat us, but we beat Finjuice, and you couldn't beat. That's the only way I can see this storyline actually evolving to make Decay look better. And imagine Decay rock up at New Japan.
I love it. I love that.
I don't even believe that anybody from Impact is going over to Japan anymore.
No, it's been so long, I agree, but I think they really need to act on this quickly.
I don't, and I think, honestly, I think it's too late. I truly believe Finjuice needs, they need to rectify it now. Next time Finjuice is in Japan, they need to defend those titles. Right now, they're in American soil. New Japan Strong is finishing up their tapings that they currently have. Okay? Get them to defend the Impact Tag Team titles on New Japan Strong. It's still a New Japan product. I will fucking accept it at this point. It's no, but it's something.
So Impact are recording the next 4 weeks of episodes this week?
I believe so. Their schedule is it used to be every 8 weeks, and then because of restrictions they were able to bring it down to every 6 weeks, 5 weeks, and I think they're back down to every 4 weeks now.
I have heard that they're filming up to Slammiversary.
Oh wow. That's a giant chunk.
Yeah.
That's risky.
I'm
not gonna lie, that's really risky. Wow. I don't know what the decision behind that is.
Just have to wait and see.
I'm going to tell you right now, Kenny Omega is going to have that title the entire time.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way.
I hope Eddie Edwards is the first contender for the title.
Agreed. He deserves it.
No one says Impact as Eddie Edwards.
I suppose I just I just thought of the fact that they can use, even with 3 months, they could just have Kenny Omega, defend the title 2-3 times in that time frame if they really wanted to, because Kenny Omega could go and record that many matches in that time frame if they really needed him to. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off. They've done it before.
Yeah.
They've done 3 months of TV before, so.
Sad to wait and see. So what happened after this match?
Then we get Gia Miller knock on Kenny Omega's door, and Don
Yes.
Callis.
Oh, so many good lines from this beautiful man with the ruby glasses. So many good lines. I'll try to be as quick as I can with this, but man, there were some like he starts it off like where he says something about you've got Don Callis out of your head, but now you got to deal with the best wrestler in 3,000 years. Gotta love how Don Callis just makes
Yeah.
Kenny Omega better than everybody.
No,
And
the greatest wrestler since Hercules.
yeah, pretty much.
Is like the greatest wrestler since mythology is what he's saying in that sentence, and I'm like, that's wow, okay.
He's the blonde-haired wrestling Jesus, is Don Callis pretty much saying.
Yeah.
But he had so many other lines. Two of my favorite lines he said was that, he talked about how him and Kenny were family and how, they're close in the blood. And Rich Swann says, who's his family? The wrestlers in the back. There's no lower form of life than a wrestler. He pretty much just told his guys, you're all nothing.
He told the entire business he works for that
Yeah,
he's actually done this before.
I love it.
It's Callis. Callis just like people are surprised that like I stepped out of the wrestling business for 20 years and walked back into like and just in success instantly. I'm like, and he's like, I'm not. Wrestling business is simple.
He also said like just a mean thing of saying like, you're truly one orphan that's gonna lose their one toy tonight.
Oh Jesus!
I know.
Right.
But then the greatest line he had of the night of the backstage in this promo was when he said, this was a 27-year-old vision that he had with his 10-year-old boy, Kenny Omega. And they say vision without execution is just a hallucination. But they are going to execute the vision tonight. If this didn't get you pumped up for the main event, like only Don Callis can get you pumped up, I don't know. You better check your pulse.
I mean, like everybody says how great of a promo Heyman is, but like, man, Callis is like putting that legacy to the test.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
He literally put Kenny Omega over like he always does, slapped every Impact wrestler and pretty much every wrestler in the face other than Kenny Omega,
while still propping up Rich Swann.
Yeah, and called Rich Swann an orphan, pretty much.
Yeah, all at the same time. Guy's great. But
again, for me, it's just the same promo I've had for the last 4 weeks.
I agree with you on that point.
There were there's good lines though. You can't deny that.
Jordan, you're a promo. Like, you're a promo guy, so I mean, like this is the kind of stuff you live for when it comes to wrestling.
And wrestling.
Yes, of course, but I mean, like promos are one of your one of your big things.
I want people
to love moves. Some people really love storylines. Some people love promos. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is.
Yep.
I feel like between the three of us, we hit those three categories. So
there we go.
So next up, we get Diana versus Dashwood.
Very excited. I was very excited.
Nice to see Kimberly return and Susan.
I love seeing Kimberly back. That was great. Happy she's
huge
back.
Fan of Kimberly. Princess Kimberly. She'll always be Princess Kimberly to me.
I'm really sad that Susan was Susan in this. I felt like she could have done anything to have Su Yung back. I am so bored of Susan that I don't even want to take this anymore. I'm just bored of this character. It's move on. You had the chance to bring Su Yung back, and you've wasted it.
But now they have the opportunity to do the cinematic match that you want to see.
Yeah, but they've had this opportunity for a long time and they haven't done it. They're not going to do it. Let's face it.
You're right.
I will say about this match, first of all, if Deonna Purrazzo needs any more reasons why she is one of the top 5 women's wrestlers in the world, I don't know what they are, because she just constantly shuts every critic up every time she steps in that ring. And Tenille, man, there were some good submissions in this match. That's what I loved most about it, is that this was a real technical match. Like there were some really good submissions by Deonna. There was one where she had her arm under the throat and was just like really squeezing it. Like it was an MMA fight. It almost felt like there were some times with some of the submissions. But in the end, I was very happy that Deonna got the win because, like I said, I think she should have a long-term title reign with this.
Oh, absolutely. With everybody.
I think Deonna needed the win because this match has just had so little build-up to it. I think if you'd have passed the title over to Dashwood with this little build-up, they would have, I don't know, just kind of like shit on Deonna's reign that she's had so far. You know, she's literally come in and taken out legends and everyone that she's faced. Absolutely loving her as champion, and I want it again. Like you said, I want it to carry on for a long time.
Like her current run has been so good that a lot of people forget that she lost the belt to Jordynne Grace at some point.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like, everybody forgets that she actually lost the belt at some point. This is her second run.
I truly believe Deonna will have a run that could beat out Taya Valkyrie's reign, as longest reign.
I hope it does.
I'm cool.
Like she's only young, isn't she? She's only young. She's only 20 odd, and I think she's 24.
I know she's not 30 yet. That's for sure.
But if you give her this title and just give it to her, I'd be happy with a 2-year run. You know, I think, especially with Impact, you don't get long runs anymore in wrestling as a standard, actually. But I think give Deonna just a massive run, and then the person that beats her, the person that finally beats her, you know, it could even be Dashwood, but it's just going to elevate them to the next level. It really is just going to, you know, if you make Deonna just look unbeatable, you know. Have also news.
Yeah. Deonna is 26 years old.
26.
So she's still young. There's no limit to her greatness.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we got a nice surprise at the end that was spoiled a little early today.
Yeah. So all three have beat. So Kimberly, Susan, and Deonna are beating down on Dashwood. And Tyler Wilde makes a save. Clears the house.
Which I liked. I liked it.
Are we turning Dashwood face?
I hope not.
I don't think they're necessarily doing that per se. They could very easily just have Tenille do a segment. Tenille and Caleb do a segment. Like, we didn't need your help. We're fine. Like, leave us alone. Like, blah, blah, blah. Tenille's great. She doesn't need you.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that.
Taylor Wilde's first match would be against Tenille for being an ungrateful little bee. And then you're fine. No, but like I think that's a good way of starting Taylor Wilde, because Tenille's already had a loss. So giving her a second loss in a row like that, but she just lost to the champion. Giving her a second loss in a row to a returning legend, according, like, they're selling her off as a as a knockouts legend, right? So they need to solidify that by making her beat someone like Tenille.
Yeah. For fans who don't know, Taylor Wilde, she is a former Knockouts and is one half of the first ever Knockout Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. I don't remember who her partner was, but I remember that she was...
They were the legendary Sarah Stock, Canadian royalty. You better know who that is, Trev.
I absolutely know who Sarah Stock is. I forgot that was her partner. Wow.
Yeah. And the other is the now in jail Hamada. Oh, well.
Do you know what? I've got to say, so Deonna gets the Queen's Gambit to get the pin. But this match, like, Dashwood had so many close finishes like that. That was broken up by Susan and Kimberly, and with Caleb with a K outside, who just got his ass whooped by both fucking Susan.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
Yeah.
So now we're going to the main event.
Was the Slammiversary promo wasn't here, was it?
Yeah, the Slammiversary promo was before, but I just thought we'd just go over that at the end because we got to talk about.
Cool.
Yeah.
And who gets to join the commentary team? The greatest commentator from Canada. Thank you, oh Canada.
Oh,
The
yes.
one and only Mr. Mamma Mia himself, Mauro Ranallo.
Oh, yeah. I was
And-
pumped at Ronaldo.
Oh my God. When I saw him, the goosebumps got goosebumps. Like he said.
He's good, man. He's so good. And I was like, yes, I'm happy to have him back. I'm happy to hear him again. Period.
Yeah. Jay,
he's
are you a fan of?
He
Are you-
did so well on commentary. Like,
Or did you know him before the show?
yeah, I've heard him a few times, like at WWE, stuff like that. But he did so well on commentary. He has this voice that just makes everything so much. Impact need to get him on commentary full time if they can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, yes. He made Stryker better, and he made D'Lo better. Like he pulled it out of.
Fucked up so much in this match. Like you just had two good commentators, one excellent commentator, one good commentator, and then D'Lo was just spoke very often. Like they even was like, D'Lo, say something.
D'Lo's only getting used to commentary now, and you put him on a 3-man team when he's never done it before. With someone like Ronaldo, I mean, that's imposing, I think, honestly. But like I said, Ronaldo, he pulls it out of both of them. He doesn't hog the spotlight like some commentators do. And he really shoots to both of them when he knows it's appropriate and he knows that they know their shit and this is the time for them to say something. I love it. He's such a good commentator. You're right, man. He's one of the best, if not the best.
And it really improved the match. It
had the big fight feel.
Yes.
If it didn't before, it did with Mauro. But we get into the main event of the biggest match in Impact history.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Two champions enter, one champion leaves. The image of those two refs holding those 3 belts. There were goosebumps before the match even started. That's amazing.
No, I totally agree. So you get Kenny Omega come out with the Good Brothers, and you get Rich Swann come out with Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack.
Yeah. I like the idea of having people at your side like that. Like it felt really. I like how you had Tony Khan and a bunch of the AEW crew behind the barrier on one side, and then you had Scott D'Amore and a bunch of the Impact people you could see in the background standing behind D'Amore. Everybody's watching this match. Everybody was and you could see it on their faces when the camera cut to them. These guys were all everybody here was as fascinated with what was happening in the ring as what we were.
Yes. And you had one person who was with Scott D'Amore that looked like a fat Shane McMahon. I just want to point that out.
He did. So, do we each want to take points of what we loved about the match?
I'm going to go over the ending of the match first.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it, yeah.
All right, so we get Kenny Omega hits a V trigger on the back of Swann's head, and then Swann kind of holds the limp body of Swann in Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack's face. Swann gets up, he goes for a suplex, and then he does the Phoenix Splash, but Kenny rolls out the way of the Phoenix Splash. Then he lands his 7th million V trigger, and then he hits the One-Winged Angel for the pin.
Yeah. Yeah, you were the 7th million V trigger.
It felt like 7 million. Yeah, 7 billion.
Yeah. this match, I'll go first. This match I loved it from start to finish. I absolutely loved it. It was as hyped as, it was good as the hype, and all these promos that we've had over the last however long, and every part of this match, I was like, oh my god, could Swan win this? Could Swan win this? Like, I know deep down inside, I knew Kenny was going to win, but every step of this match, I believed that Swan could win it. Like, even down to the final feature when he, and I thought he was going to kick out the one-winged angel. I was just so hyped. I had so many emotions going. I was like on the edge of my seat. Just, it was such a good match. It made Swan look $1 million, and that's down to Kenny, I reckon. But it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Jordan, go into it.
Okay. So this match, if there's ever anybody who ever needs to ask what matches lived up or exceeded their hype, put this one on, because that did. Because we all knew this was going to be an amazing match. I think all three of us can agree that we all knew these two guys were going to tear it up. But God, the moves that happened in this match, like you, Jay, I thought there were points where, oh my God, Rich is going to win it. And I thought there were times where the ref was going to stop it. Because the image of Rich Swann drooling from the mouth from all those V triggers was just like, oh God, Rich, just throw it in, man. You can't, it's over. Just give up. He looked like he was dead. Like, he looked like he was just broken. And there were other things that were really awesome. The image of Kenny Omega going to use the chair, and how Mauro Ranallo was freaking out going, we're ruining a match. How does a guy who calls himself the best bout machine use a chair? And who stops them from using the chair? We see Aubrey Edwards. Aubrey Edwards stops it. And Kenny Omega used, as much as people love the One Wings Angel, I love Croyd's Wrath. That's still one of my favorite finishers. And it was awesome to see him pull that out. But good on Rich Swann, man. He took some bumps that looked painful. I don't know how his neck is feeling, but it probably hurts like a bitch.
Man. Okay. Okay. You're gonna hate it.
No.
I love the match. It was good, okay? It was an
Thank God.
amazing. It was really great, but I have one minor issue. As a New Japan fan, I've seen Kenny Omega at this level I've only seen Kenny Omega at this level twice.
Mm-hmm.
Against Okada and against Ibushi.
True enough.
Rich Swann is great. Rich Swann is an amazing wrestler. He's not Okada. He is not Ibushi.
Mm.
And it's weird to say this, but I actually kind of felt like, when you're watching a match and you see a guy who it's like his third, maybe fourth main event, and the veteran main eventer is, despite the guy being a great mid-carder, the veteran main eventer is still totally leading the match, and you can kind of tell.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the feel I got. I really felt like Swann was just trying to keep up with Omega as best he could without messing anything up. And he didn't. He did great. Don't get me wrong. It's just I could feel it. I don't know. To me, that took away from it a little bit, maybe. I'm sad that, Swann didn't quite live up to my expectations, maybe. He's tough. He's resilient. But I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you're fighting Kenny Omega, what's he going to do? He's going to V-trigger you in the head 20 times so he can hit you with the One Wing Angel. That's his strategy. So when I see you get V-triggered in the face for the 15th, 17th time, I know it's going to happen. As soon as he hits that 10th V-trigger, You know what I mean? He's halfway there. I know what's gonna happen. That's it. He's hit so many that's it.
Hmm.
And that's a tell for Omega. I will definitely say that's a tell for his match style. Period. At this point. But this is me who's been watching Omega matches for a while and gone back. Even like when I discovered Kenny Omega, I went back and watched a bunch of his old matches, and you know what I mean. So, but I see the pattern sometimes.
I'm a little bit worried with Kenny Omega that it's going to be overexposed now.
I mean, he finally has 3 belts that you can actually see.
Yeah, why don't we get to see the AAA?
I have no idea, man. I have no idea why we never get to see it. Like, we've seen it a handful of times on AEW Dynamite.
You just have it with him all, especially with this belt collector.
Just because you guys said the 3 belts, Mauro Ranallo did what he does best at the end of every pay-per-view. He always has these awesome one-liners that he comes up with. When Omega won, he said, "You can't spell Omega without OMG," which is just awesome.
Yeah.
And he also said, "The Lord of the Ring now lords over AEW, AAA, and Impact."
Yes, I do love that line. It was great.
And the ending, this, as much as you love that one, Trev, I loved this line, how he ends the pay-per-view. "Have we opened up a brave new world, or have we opened up Pandora's box?"
Yeah. I mean, Ronaldo just has a way with words, man. Like, guys, he is a wordsmith. That's all there is to it.
And of course, who doesn't love the line where he said, "Oh, Kenny Omega stacking them up like Pringles."
Yeah.
That's why I love Mauro Ranallo. His lines are perfect. Every kind he comes up with stuff that are so good.
So ultimately, though, this leaves Impact in a weird place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tag team titles are gone because presumably Finn Juice are gonna stick around for a little bit and then go back to Japan.
Probably.
Because that's kind of what they were. The belts are going back to Japan, boys.
I could see them losing on the next show.
What they said.
I could see them losing in the next show.
I agree. Just hopefully not to Good Brothers, because then that would just be piss off.
Yeah.
They
needed some people on this show to retain. Otherwise, there would have been 4 title changes, 3 title changes.
Would have been 3 title changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the honor one. Yeah. So it would have been 3 title changes, which would have been too many.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been a lot.
Completely see them losing on the next show. And like you said, hopefully not to the Good Brothers.
But we just went from 5 titles on screen to 3. 1 for the men and 2 for women. So
I am very excited. I'm more excited to see how this goes because I can't wait to see how Rich Swann reacts, how the roster reacts to Rich Swann losing, how, what's going to happen now that Kenny Omega's champion. I'm very intrigued with what they do.
Oh, Kenny Omega should totally pull a Brock Lesnar style story with Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect storyline in this right now, in my opinion. Because I don't care how many people will bitch and moan about Brock Lesnar. The guy is a damn draw.
Oh yeah.
And that storyline where that style of champion where he just takes the belt and fucks off for a month or 2 at a time, it works. Just not if you do it for too long at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And Kenny Omega's never done anything like that, really. So.
Mm-hmm. But before we end about that match, to ask you both this question, did this match exceed your expectations, would you say?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, completely. I haven't felt this emotional about a match in a long time, and I really was on the edge of my edge of my seat all the way through it. I
was on the edge of my shit too.
No, I will admit, I felt all the exhilaration, I was so on the edge of my seat trying to see who was oh my god, I can't wait, I need to could Swan actually win this, could Swan actually win this, but like I said, I had that really hate saying it because I love Rich Swann, but I just felt like on this night, Rich Swann in ring, it was visible that he literally was not on Kenny Omega's level on that night. It's what it felt like. It didn't feel like a story. Like the storyline is that he wasn't on Kenny Omega's level. It kind of felt like he literally wasn't, and that's unfortunate. That's all I gotta say.
That's why God gave everybody their own opinion to give.
And it's okay if yours is wrong.
We don't talk about him.
But let's talk about.
He lost against Vince McMahon, dude. Like, we don't talk about losers on the show.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So why are we talking to you then? If you,
Because, like I said before we started recording, I might have not have won the predictions title before now, but I am the one who runs the channel. So.
Yeah, but
right,
I'm
whatever
the
you say.
and the Impact champion. So let's not even go there, guys. All right.
And I am.
So as the
And I
champion, as the new predictions champion, how about this dude making an impact? Who you got?
Were we going to talk about?
I need to go over a few things that was said during the pay-per-view. So we're getting in May.
Yes.
We're getting a Impact special in May called Under Siege. We're getting one in June called Against All Odds, and then we've got the Slammiversary in July, and we got a promo for Slammiversary. Jordan, would you like to talk about that?
When I saw it, I knew where they were going with it, and I was like, "Oh, let's see those faces." And who did we see? We saw some ones we knew we were going to see, but there was one I can't believe we saw. We saw Mickey James. We saw Samoa Joe. We saw, I believe, the Australian flag.
No, that was New Zealand flag.
New Zealand flag. We also says
Iconics.
Yep, which is awesome. We saw the Mexican flag, which is no brainer because they really want to bring in more talent from Mexico.
Yeah, some people were saying Andrade. I'm like, no, that doesn't necessarily mean Andrade. It just means AAA because they've already said that.
They're talking about Chelsea Green, aka Laurel Van Ness.
Her face totally flashed. The hideous crying makeup. I love that gimmick.
Oh, I did. That was one of my favorite gimmicks. And one I couldn't believe, and I had to stop it for a second, or two of them I couldn't believe. We saw Okada, and I might be wrong, but I'm very sure I saw Naito.
I think it was Naito, yes.
Which, God, these guys are mass. Why is Slammiversary always the pay-per-view that more people get excited about? Because you can't wait to see who they may actually bring in.
Well, the beauty of Slammiversary is the 90-day compete clause from when WWE does their mass layoffs is up.
Just for you, Trev, I hope to God Laurel Van Ness comes out in the crazy dress.
I kind of want to see her bring back that crazy gimmick only to marry Matt Cardona, but not actually like an on-screen marriage thing. But Cardona would be like, "Hey, we're already married. Like, what are you talking? Like, I don't know if they're married actually, but like, babe, we're together. What are you talking about?" And she's like just stuck in the character because she's on screen type thing.
Oh, I'd love it so much.
How many people of that thing do you think we're going to see rock up on Impact?
Oh man, Slammiversary had a lot of people come back last year. The only one that ended up being a dud is unfortunately Heath, but that's because due to injury, not really. There's nothing you can do about that. That happens. You know what I mean? But man, they could use a couple. They could bring in at least 4.
I think the only 3 I want to see are Samoa Joe, because who doesn't want to see Samoa Joe? Like I said, Laurel, Chelsea Green, would love to see her, and I'd love to see a new person from AAA.
We are going to get more people. Conan's already said, once the borders open up a little bit, we're going to send more people over there. going with Joe, I'd happy Joe to come back as just a commentator. But I want to see him wrestle. I love Samoa Joe. And you take Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling, and that shits over everything he did in WWE. Like, WWE made him look a fool.
Yeah.
But that's WWE, isn't it?
It's WWE, yeah.
You know what I actually like to see for Joe? As much as I love Scott D'Amore as an authority figure, I think like the stress and bullshit shenanigans of Don Callis and trying to deal with Kenny Omega and Callis on a regular basis would make it that like Scott is just stressed out of his mind, can't deal with like. Remember, we have to wait for the 90-day no compete clause to finish, right? So after 3 months of dealing with Omega and Callis like this, he can't take it anymore, and he brings in Joe to deal with the day-to-day stuff of Impact Wrestling. So Joe becomes the general manager in a sense, because I think he could still keep a similar feel to what Scott D'Amore does, but still do it his own way in a very intimidating factor, of course, because he's Samoa Joe. You're not gonna piss off Samoa Joe. Don't make him take off the jacket. He's wearing a suit. Don't make him take off that jacket.
That's pretty much that'd be it.
I think that'd be cool.
Be a great thing if everyone always says that.
What I don't want to see is Joe come back and just kick Kenny Omega's ass. I want it to be a slow build up if he comes back. You know, I wouldn't mind Joe being the one to take the belt off Omega, but I'd much prefer it to be Moose.
Yeah,
agreed. But since we're talking about this, my making an impact is the Iconics.
I would love that.
I thought WWE were absolute morons to break them up when they did. It did not make any sense. They even had the two of them play how sad they were about the breakup in ring during the show. It was so stupid. But they're incredible. They're an incredible tag team. And if you want Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering to start do my idea, you know, those open challenges, right? Start bringing in different people. And then you have the Iconics show up for Slammiversary and just be like, yep, those are ours now. I've always said it. I'm against people walking in and just winning the titles like that. But I think if you did it at Slammiversary with a team like the Iconics, it could work. And it would also kind of be like, it kind of just be like a taste of Rachel Ellering's All Medicine. Maybe, I don't know.
Great thing also you can say is that they're both still, you know, Billy Kay's only 31 years old and Peyton Royce is only 28.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, like, why not see Peyton Royce go into AEW because her husband's there? And I'm like, would you want to go to the AEW women's division? If you had the choice between Impact's women's division and AEW's women's division, like, let's be honest. If you were a wrestler, a woman on the indie scene, and you had the choice between those two promotions, which one would you realistically want to work for more?
Well, I first look at myself going, how the hell did this happen?
Hypotheticals. I'm just saying. Like, I don't know. I feel like Impact, I feel like I'm at that point where AEW, that like I'm starting to really hold them up to the standard that I kind of hold other promotions to. I'm slowly starting to. But their women's division is the one that I've always shat on because they don't have a good women's division, in my opinion, because it's been booked crappy. Not that they don't have good talent, is that the women's division is booked poorly. And the Knockouts division has been booked fabulously for 2-3 years solid now. Like, that's impressive, man. Like, I think it's been booked solid since Maria Kanellis, like, since Kanellis left. I think the women's division has been booked really well.
Yeah.
And that had nothing to do with Kanellis necessarily. That's just, you know, like around that time, right? There was a lot of change in that time.
Yeah. I guess I'll throw in my pick for making an impact, and I'm gonna go local for this one. And the guys I'm picking, it's gonna shock a lot of people because they haven't been in the business this long, but I love them. And I think these guys, all three of them are talents. They are the trio of Nick Strong, Cole Trafford, and the greatest of all time, Charlie
Charlie
Hughes.
Hubley.
Ah,
Fucking man. No, legit.
yeah, legit. I'm throwing the L up, guys. So if you're listening to this, I am throwing the L up. First of all three incredible talents in every single way. Cole Trafford is a great heel. Like he's now called Hollywood Cole and is pulling it off beautifully. Nick Strong is just a silent badass that you don't want to fuck with. He reminds me of Taz. He is the guy who could beat you up.
He's short in stature, but like massive in,
Yep.
in
Just a
width.
massive man. And Charlie motherfucking Hubley.
Okay. Can I
Like,
tell a story about Hubley?
go ahead.
So, this is like a secondhand story. Apparently, there's a show once in Nova Scotia where like half of the guys, half of the roster was late, and they needed time to, they needed to buy time because like the opening match was late.
Mhm.
So they look at the ring announcer, Nyquist, and they're like, just go in there and interview somebody. And Hubley's just like, cue me up. Like,
Yeah.
instantly, like, let's do this. And then he goes out and he makes the crowd boo him for like 12 minutes. He's just talking and rambling and getting everybody to hate him for like 12 minutes straight. 9-minute promo to one question, pretty
Yeah.
much. Insane,
And,
insane. The guy is so talented.
so
And
the
where
reason
were they all trained?
they all trained at Lance Storm Academy.
Yep.
So the reason I say all three guys to be picked is because I'm looking at, we always pick stars that are, well known in the indies or, have been around, never got the rub. But for me, I'm looking at the future because you got to build with younger talent. Don't knock them right out of the park. I don't expect as great as Charlie Hubley, Nick Strong, Cole Trafford are to get the rocket put on top of them. But I do know you just give them time. Let Cole be Hollywood Cole, let Nick Strong be the silent badass, and let Charlie just talk his little mouth off. You will get something special from all three.
Yeah, and they cover all three bases.
Yeah.
Well, like Hubley is that mouthpiece, but he can go in the ring. He's definitely the dirtiest of the three when it comes to how willing he is to cheat and how good he is at it. Cole has that Olympic style amateur wrestling background from his high school days as well, before he trained with Lance Storm. And then Nick Strong is your power lifter. He's your classic powerhouse powerlifter style wrestler, and all three together work really well. They're a joy to see grow. And I think in like a year or two, you put those three in a place like Impact, I think they could make a pretty cool splash. I think they can make a good name for themselves.
Yep, but now we go to the man who makes a name for himself for picking things where we never know where he's gonna go. My favorite, the guy who always makes this the most exciting thing. My favorite words to say, Jay, who you going for?
Okay, so I was trying to think of someone, a knockout that could join Violent by Design. And what I came up with was Natalia Naderhart comes in as like a pissed off, like, I've been fucking underutilized, blah blah blah. I'm a Naderhart. I don't care. And have her
Just kidding.
have her as just the knockout that joined Violent by Design. Have her come in and just kick ass. I really think she could do well. I don't ever see her leaving WWE, but I watched her at WrestleMania and I was like, this woman is so underutilized and made to look rubbish. She's held the WWE title twice or something.
Yeah.
She deserves so much better than that.
Keep going, sir. When you're done, I have something to say, that's all.
Go on, I'm done. It's
Okay.
Natalia Neidhart come in, followed by designers, an angry veteran kind of, and she's only 38, so you know.
Oh yeah. All of that
Yeah.
works except for one issue. She's a terrible heel. Have you seen her as a heel? Like, she herself hates being a heel. Apparently, like, she's not. She's the locker room mom. That's the kind of person she is, and she plays she's such a good natural baby face, and there's so few of those.
Talking for her, yeah, and she's just there to kick ass.
I love that. I think that could
can't
work.
even see her with a mean look on her face. I see her standing there cracking her knuckles, trying to have a mean look on her face, and then like cracking a smile. Like I can't, man.
They could just have her be, like the happy person who crazy.
I mean, that could be cool. They had like the happy-go-lucky Kylie Ray, and they lost, and unfortunately, she's gone. So having Natalia do something like that could work. But I do love Natalia as a pick. I agree with you that she could be awesome, and it keeps adding to the legacy of awesome Canadians in Impact Wrestling.
You could like bring Davey Boy Smith Jr. in, and like everyone with that as well, to try and turn her face or whatever.
Just give me a new Heart Foundation. You don't even have to call it that. MLW owns the rights to the name Heart Foundation now. By the way, that's insane. MLW.
Really?
Congratulations for getting on Spice, by the way, guys. MLW.
But man, they had Brian Pillman Jr., Teddy Hart, and Davey Boy Smith Jr. as the Hart Foundation for a while, and it's great. That was perfect, but I don't want to see that iteration of it again. But I do want to see Davey Boy Smith on American soil doing something again. I don't. We don't. He's such a big draw though in the UK, right? Like apparently he does really, really, really good over there. Yeah.
We have Old World of Sport, which was on ITV, and he when Grado won that championship against Dave Mastiff, he made the save, and it was so good. Like he's just like he's huge over here, he really is.
Yeah.
I watched all of it. I loved it. I was really sad World of Sports just didn't happen.
Yeah.
And they could have pushed it, but WWE killed it. Like they set up NXT UK and just signed everyone. It was so sad.
So they're basically set up to do a NXT like Canada, like whenever the hell they want. They could do it whenever they want. They're just waiting. Like the moment Canada gets organized enough, they're gonna pull it off. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Unless somebody can get a deal to be a feeder company to them, the way that Progress has.
Yeah. So before we end the thing, I thought since usually with this I always get an expert opinion on the pay-per-view. I got one guy to talk about just the main event though, because I don't want him to go rambling on and on. So Jim Cornette, can you just give me your opinion of what you thought the main event was? I never thought I'd do this. I actually agree with Trevor. Trevor, you are a smart man. You have a good brain on you, son. I mean, we not only share opinions, but if you want, you can share my wife. But yeah, I don't get the whole Kenny Omega thing, and I don't get why Rich Swann was in the main event. It should have gone to the other guy. What's that other guy? I'm from Kentucky. All black guys look the same. Anyway, but I thought the match was horrible. And I think I could have booked it better. But anyway, the pay-per-view was all right. I don't know why you two have two women as your picks for making an impact. Because, women's wrestling.
I love how your Cornette and your Russo both use the because women's wrestling. The one
I
thing
have no idea.
in common.
Thanks. Anyway, thanks a lot, Jim Cornette, you hillbilly son of a bitch.
He's a fucking bellend.
Yes, he is.
But no, overall, the show was absolutely incredible. I think we've all got a good making an impact. And
Oh yeah,
yeah,
solid show. I was happy.
Absolutely. So I'm going to be announcing a couple little changes on the channel. We are going to be dropping the AEW New Japan show. I'm going to be keeping up the Impact recaps. Taking some time to refocus, try out a couple of different projects. The Impact show is doing really good, and I love doing the recap shows. And as much as like, I'd love to do every promotion other than WWE as a recap show. I'll be honest. I feel like we can. I have other projects I'd really like to work on, and with only me as an editor, we are doing the best we can. And I think some of the other projects I have in mind they're going to be more fun, more diversity. Play up on the geeks part a little bit of the name Wrestle Geeks. But people, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and we'll be back for Impact Wrestling next week.
And if you like it, share, subscribe, I will send my wife. Shut up, Jim Cornette.
God, that's so cringy. Oh. Have a good one, everybody.
Or else.
peace out.